Hi guys, welcome back. So it's a bit of a late one this weekend. I'm recording this on Sunday and I'm feeling pretty rough. I've had my COVID booster jab, so I'm just not feeling good. I've had a bit of a worse time of it than I did with my other ones, and as a result today is going to be sponsored by Monster Energy. So I think we'll just dive in. So let's start with the keeper. So because just printing it out wasn't good enough, I decided I'd clumsily break the arm off, so I've had to glue that back on. I've re-gone over it in white as well on the skin, just to bring up the brightness of it, the tone. I wasn't too happy with that, and I wanted to go back over some of the parts near, like on the leg and whatnot. As you can see, I've also gone over the cloak in white, so I wasn't happy with how dull it was. We can bring it back up. It's only a standing piece, but I can do better, so we will. As a result, you can see that there's a slight bit of purple where the magenta ink hit the very dark primer, so a lot of the black was still showing through. And as a result, instead of going on as magenta, it went on very purplish, like almost like this purple. So I've sprayed white over, a tiny bit of that purple is showing through still, and all that's going to do is add a bit more depth of contrast to when I put the magenta ink into the folds. Only add to the effect, which is fine. So we have that to paint this week. I've managed to get the 3 characters primed, which for reference was Sigvals, Syll'Esske and Glutos, including all the crew. So it's all been done in this Molotov black all for one paint. Now somebody's mentioned in the comments that they've managed to use they've managed to clean this out their airbrush using airbrush cleaner, specifically the same one that Marco Frigioni uses. Now I'm not sure what that is at the moment, but I'm going to have a look at some point and do a little experiment, because I've been using this generic airbrush cleaner ready to use, and it did not shift it. So I've also got some Vallejo airbrush cleaner, and I'm going to try using that to see if that makes a difference. But my fail-safe is the isopropyl alcohol that I've got will definitely clear it out. So that's just a note while I've got it on my mind. Back to the character. So what I've done is I've gone in, and as you can see I'm halfway through priming these in white, because it takes a little bit of time with the white ink. So I put a light coat of white over everything and then just increased it until I get the hue I want. The saturation I want of white onto the model, and then I've gone from a zenithal and I've put a heavier coat of white on, just to pop out any places that I want to be highlighted. So as you can see, that'll do. Now from that's not going to be the only way that I go. I'm going to then apply a thinned out Vallejo hex lichen, whatever that is, as a nadial spray underneath, and that's when you get it will go like this. As you can see, we've got purple, especially on his foot. So I then go back with a white and just put a zenith of white on. Yes, it's a bit laborious. I'm sure you could do it another way. Another way I know for a fact you could do it is if you just use purple primer and then zenith white over the top. That would probably work just as well, but I don't have that option. This is what I've got, so that's where I'm going. From that will then give a great base for whatever flesh I'm going to do. Now in this case I'm going to have a go at mixing flesh tones using Chimera colours, because I want to see what I can get out of that paint range. The fail-safe is I've also got Gunnerman flesh and Fireslayer flesh, which I don't have to hand this second, and I can always airbrush that on as a glaze, so all that underpainting of the purple and the white will show through, and hopefully, but obviously because purple's made up of red and it has that blue tone which skin does, that will naturally give a really nice contrast to the flesh coloured glaze over the top. So I've got options. Now from that this week I've also tested out a brand new gold. We'll have a look at Sigvald. So unlike the other one, which was antique gold, this is Green Stuff Worlds gold pigment powder, and then I've done the exact same mixture with the 1 drop flow improver, 3 drops of gold and 2 drops of copper from Vallejo metal colour range, which was Vince Ventrella's recipe. But I used the gold because I thought if anybody's going to have a brighter armour, it's going to be Sigvald. Admittedly, I've done the same on Syll'Esske because I had it in the pot, but the main intent for this was definitely Sigvald. And I must say, it was done over a gloss black primer as well, or more specifically just the Modzo black with gloss black. Oh no, actually, so it's a light. I did that all in one, and then I mixed up some Chimera black with some gloss varnish and just coated everywhere first because I wanted it to be bright. And that's the end result. That's a couple of coats just to get a smooth finish. Obviously, if you put it on with an airbrush, it would go on a lot smoother first time, but I am very happy with that. And that is just a base layer, no depth of contrast, no tonal variation. It is just one colour on there, and as you can see, now it's not gold, but it's plated, I believe, or a very polished brass to look like gold. It's quite reflective for a paint. Very impressed. So the next steps of this is going to be nadial spraying Syll'Esske and Sigvald. So we've also done the gold parts on Syll'Esske, and I accidentally covered the leg, so that's going to have to get based in grey. But all this armour is going to have a nadial spray of transparent burnt sienna. So as you can see here, it's very reddish brown, and that's going to give a lovely warm tone to it. And then in the deepest recesses, we've got 2 new contrast paints. We're going to go Pterodon turquoise, that's got a greenish blue hue, so when that goes over the reddish brown, it will mute itself out, green being the opposite of red, brown being a neutral colour anyway. It will mute itself out, and it will give me a really nice matte dark shadow. And in the deepest shadows we go even more into that, and we go Leviathan blue, which I do believe, if I'm right in thinking, that is a turquoise which would be a mixture of phthalo blue green shade and phthalo green blue shade, which would give that. Obviously through an airbrush this will go matte, whereas the inks I've used before will go glossy, satiny, not matte either way. And then that I do believe is, I think, just phthalo blue. Could be very wrong, but my suspicions is that what they are. They are, what it wants to show, they are unopened, so I haven't used these yet to test, but that will be fun. Quite like these contrast paints, they are very useful. So that's the goal for this week, is doing the nadial spray of colours on the gold, which I'll then have to go and highlight with a zenithal spray, which will be the same gold mixture with a few drops of silver in, nadial sprayed on, zenithal sprayed on, sorry, and that should do the gold. That's going to be a lot more work than, that might be more work than a week, especially since I've also got to base, say, this one in the gold armour and do the same. Realistically I want to be doing that at the same time as this, but this chap's going to have the same armour as the other lot, so I won't be using the gold pigment, I'll be using the antiqued gold on him. That's why he's not done at the same time. And I've also got to base the rest of these. Zenithal spray them. So I've got a lot of work cut out for me. But this week we've been busy. I was away last weekend. I've had a busy weekend this time, and I'm feeling dog rough because of my jab. I'm still at a satisfactory place. And that is everything that's been done this week. So hopefully next time I'll have something nice to show you. Until now, have a good time everyone. Bye. Well guys, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, like, comment and subscribe. Also be sure to check out our Facebook page at Wolfen Studios, the link's in the description. As always, thanks for stopping by, catch you next time.